Okay. So last time we talked about IM securities, right?
Yes, yes, right.
And like how to in any of the cloud, how to understand that what role is to be assigned to a particular people, and how
Yeah,
we give them the limited access so that
access. Hmm.
security give to assign their roles and all. Okay,
Yeah, policy and groupings for the users.
correct, correct. So it is possible to assign the policies, to put them in
Yes.
groups and other things. So there are few more options available, but that is when we go deep into the cloud. So we'll
Hmm.
understand. Similarly, if I talk about any other cloud, okay, so any other public cloud domain like Azure or anywhere. So
Hmm.
concept is very similar. Okay.
Yeah,
However, there are certain assigning the policy or adding secure policies, putting them in the group. That method may vary. Okay,
yeah.
that depending upon the type of cloud we are using, but overall meaning will be same. So very first part of the cloud security is related to identity based or role based. How do we assign their roles and how do we maintain their activity? Now, furthermore, we will be getting to know one more service of AWS. Similarly,
Hmm.
services in other cloud as well. That is called as Cloud Trail.
Cloud trail. Okay.
So Cloud Trail is basically uh, going to keep the records of all the events which has happened. And in that, the very first event, what is required to be assessed is actually this IM role. Because when any user has been given certain role, so we can use Cloud Trail to track what user has done. Okay, and what services users are activating, or how that user is using that services, at what time, what logging was there, and
Hmm.
other activities. So later on, we'll understand how IM security events are recorded and they are monitored. Okay, because logging and monitoring is another very important part, you know, to prepare the audit or whenever there is audit report is prepared. So
Yeah.
logging, monitoring is one of the important aspect. Okay,
Okay.
so
So,
yeah,
just one small question. So, what is the basic difference between a trail and a log?
yeah. Log is whenever we do something, okay, so that activity is getting recorded. And trailing is when you try to um, try to follow any activity that, let's say, how many user has have accessed the database. So that is the trailing event. So it will enlist all the access whenever who has accessed, at what time they have accessed, and all
Yeah.
these. And then
Okay.
you are also getting that how much data is transferred, or how much security was followed, or what who has changed the database, modified the database. So that is called the trailing. Okay. You are getting in detailed about any activity and trying to follow over the time span. So that will be trailing. And logging is simply getting all the records irrespective of whether it is relevant or non-relevant, but everything related to that particular
Hmm.
person or maybe that particular policy related activity
Hmm.
will be recorded. So that is logging.
Okay.
Yeah. So these were the agenda that we and finally we tested this onto our personal account, right?
Yeah.
So this activity is over now. So before proceeding to one this next security aspect that is related to um, the resource security, first we need to understand how do we use this cloud storage. Okay, so there is adding storage or adding the cloud. So this is related to actually the architect kind of thing. Okay, but we'll just have a look on this, how exactly this is happening, and then we'll go ahead with the security part of it. Uh,
Okay.
So this entire architecture, this is one full level of project that similar kind of project we can set up, and then we can check the security at each and every part, whether they are right or in proper place or not, right?
Okay. Hmm.
So
Right.
everything is disabled here. Only one thing is highlighted, that is a static website on S3.
Hmm.
So
S3 static
yeah,
website. Okay.
S3 is one of the like secured thing, which is again as a resource which need to be secured. So we have
Yeah.
okay, on S3, we save everything. Okay, right from web pages to many other things. So we generally call them as objects. So it is called as objects. So if in S3, whatever you save, you refer that as object. Okay.
Right.
So there is a scenario where a particular cafe is just a startup and a simple static website is needed for the customers to get the information about the menu, the working hour, location, and other things. So if that is required, it is very simple and easy. Okay,
Yeah.
let's say you have the website hosted on like you have used any of the website. Uh, do you know any of the tool with which you are making static website like what?
Um. WordPress.
Yeah. So WordPress and means you can use any. You have to just
Hmm.
upload that entire thing onto the S3. That is all. Okay.
Okay.
So let's see how Amazon uses this S3 services, and then we'll see how the security is playing the role here.
Okay.
So an object can be anything, okay, and it has like massive amount of unstructured data. Okay. Massive data means it is theoretically unlimited, but
Yeah.
if you see, you can get up to 5 TB. Of course, there is charges for this. Okay. And there is limitation to use this. Okay. In the free tier, we have limitation. Okay. So all objects which are there, they're rest accessible. Okay. So that is how they are accessed. And every object like unstructured data. So whenever you talk about database or anything stored or you keep any inventory or any register of inventory, how do we maintain? So definitely we have to have some rows and columns. So in unstructured, we have these are the like things which is called as key, version ID, value, metadata, and sub resources. So every data is being stored into the S3 bucket in this form. And whenever you try to put in any new data, you have these things, key, version ID, value, and metadata. So there are certain features of the S3, why to use S3. So there are certain advantages like durability, scalability is one of the important aspect of cloud because whenever you want, you can increase.
Mm-hmm.
the capacity, like from small to up to 5 TB or less.
Yeah. So if a let's say if a object is more than 5 TB, so how does that work?
Yeah, if you are like having more than 5 TB, there are other options also available. You can use data lakes, you can use glaciers. Okay, so
Okay.
one is offering few uh, other things like data lake. So data lake
Mm-hmm.
like a lake of like many things.
Okay.
Glacier is like everything is dumped over there. Data is kept on piling up. That is called as glacier. And
Yeah.
then you use any, let's say, uh, big data algorithm or something like that, and trying to make sense of those data, like smartwatch data. So smartwatch and other sensor data, which is continuously adding a lot of data, and then you try to understand what is the sleep pattern of this particular entire country. So once you know that the sleep pattern of entire country is ranging between this, you can predict upcoming issues with the less sleep or disturbed sleep, and then pharma companies
Yeah.
can come up with some solution. Okay, so this is how they are taking advantages of raw data, and they are trying to make certain sense out of it. So
Yeah.
there are glaciers and other things are helping.
Okay. Mhm.
So uh, then one important thing is that so very important thing is availability. So in terms of availability, this is like a very good option of S3, because S3, your data is not stored only in one availability zone, rather it is stored in at least minimum two availability zone. Okay, a
Okay.
copy
Mhm.
is always replicated somewhere, some other availability zone. And
Mhm.
um, wherever your users are there, so in the nearby AZ, it is also maintained. So availability is very good for this. Okay, so it is designed for like 99%, 99.99%. Then
Four
security,
nine. Okay.
so we'll understand how security is there, because when we talk about data, so we need to have privacy. There are
Mm-hmm.
data. So whenever it comes to data, there are certain mm, compliance model that we had seen in the earlier class. So that
Yeah.
compliance model. So compliance model were including the HIPAA data. Okay, so medical records of people. Then there were PCI DSS data where payment gateway related informations are there. So all these things are like crucial or very sensitive secure information. So they need to
Yeah.
be encrypted. So there is an encryption, and then there is encryption when data is at rest or data is in transit. So I guess you have did you attend the in the research lecture of
Yeah.
cybersecurity?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so there he might have given you certain like informations how IPs are there, how do we understand which IP and security, cyber security related things. So in
Yeah.
that, data protection is also one of the key aspects.
Okay.
Yeah. So performance is also like they are continuously improving on it. Okay. Our goal is that to host a static website, right? Onto
Yeah.
cafe. Okay. So
Okay.
whenever you use any of the S3 bucket, there are ways to like access it. Okay. So there is yeah, whenever you create any object, every time that bucket is given some name. Okay. In the S3 storage, you store everything with the name of bucket name. Okay. Let's say my cell phone data. So that is one of the bucket name, or I can say my employer uh, employer's family detail. So that is another bucket name. So bucket name,
Yeah.
it should be globally unique. That is the one like a very important thing that whenever you set up, they will ask you to set up unique and globally unique name. It is just not that for that particular AZ. It is for entire AZ because your S3 can be replicated to any other AZ anytime, just to maintain what redundancy and highest availability. So for
Yeah, right.
is
Mhm.
why bucket name should be unique globally in entire AWS. Same goes for Azure, same goes for GCP. Okay, so that is one way, like way of accessing it. Then there is bucket name dot s3. Then if you have a video in there, so you can like further attach, add the path. So
Yeah,
way of adding. Now, when I talk about the securing the S3 bucket and the objects, then like we have to be very cautious because whenever you create any bucket or any object, okay, they are by default what? Private and protected by default.
yeah,
And if you want that to be available, maybe to be available for public access, then you have to make it like a public. Okay. So that is how we have to change this. By default, it is private and protected. Okay.
okay,
So that is why we have to just understand how S3 bucket settings are to be changed. So that is our task. Okay. We'll do it. Then there are certain tools and options for controlling the data S3 bucket. First thing is blocking the access is enabled by default. Okay. So this is one feature where whatever you store or save for very first time in your bucket, by default, it will not be available for public access.
yeah.
Second is related to IAM. So every
I am
time,
policies.
yeah, whoever wants to access the particular bucket, we have to make sure whether user is authenticated and user is coming from assigned IAM role. Are you understanding this?
Yeah, yeah. Like the process we did on the last session, right?
Correct, correct. Means that user should have the permission to access the
Permission to
storage.
access. Hmm.
Then there
Yeah,
is bucket policy. We can also assign certain bucket policy as well. Okay. So for a particular object, let's say I can say that only admin should be able to access this, or I can say that only developer group should be able to modify this. So all these are called as bucket policy. No one else should be like in the Google Drive, we make any link and we make it like private, public, or
yeah.
review
Hmm.
mode
Right,
or like that. Then there
right.
is very important part from security aspect is which will come
Access.
again in our further activities called as access control list, ACLs. So
Yeah.
access control list is a list of it is a table, okay, where you can like give rules. There will be rules. So there will be rules starting from 100 number onwards, 100, 101, 103. And every rule will have some uh, like access related policies. So let's
Hmm.
say first there is rule 100 that will say, please deny all the traffic coming from a 0.0.0.0/0 IP address. So whenever I say 4 times 0/0 IP address, that means any IP address. Means any IP address, whoever wants to access this, there will be no access. Okay, so ACLs are controlling that who can access, okay, with particular IP addresses. Because in internet, everyone has to use the IP addresses to get connect and to access anything, to do any communication. So whenever
Yeah,
you
right.
connected to internet, we have to have the IP address. So I think that IP part, do you know IP addresses and like 7-layer architecture,
Yes. OSI model, right?
right? So these things will just keep on discussing in between. Then there is S3 access points. So access point is like there where we have certain configuration and particular for particular application we can modify their configurations. Okay, so let's say for static website we are putting in like some images, which some images we are making that they can replace, they can be replaced, and some images like logo etc. we should not replace. So these are related access points. Then there is a pre-signed URLs that that can also be like as a part of controlling the access to S3. Okay. And
Okay.
then there is one app which is coming from AWS itself, which is called as AWS service, which you can buy, utilize for our S3, which you can buy, but it is free feature. Okay, no charges will be there. That is called as bucket permission check. By default, if you use this trusted advisor, it will give
Hmm.
you the suggestions that what you should have activated, what you should not put like public or something like that. So it will check out your security policies and it will advise if anything is missing or anything is critical. Okay, so that is one app from trusted AWS trusted advisor. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the options for controlling the access to S3. Okay. So from security aspect, if you can see by default, what is there? Bucket is not accessible, okay, to anyone
Yeah.
else other than owner.
By default, yes. Anyone, only
Then
private to
there
the
is,
owners.
yeah, then there is public access means you have opened that bucket for everyone. So whoever is having that link will be able to get the access. Okay. So whoever is having the link, okay, irrespective of number of people, whoever is having the link can access this bucket. Okay. Sometime let's say some websites are creating promotions or let's say registrations. So they make
Yes.
certain list, they make some Google form, they make some like registration form. So that link is there and displaying on the website, register now, sign up now. So that is accessible to anyone.
Yes. Right.
And then there is S3 security settings. So settings will have the controlled access for particular person. So I will decide that which user will have the permission to access and who will not have. So that is called as controlled access. So generally these three are the overall access level. So this applies to the S3 as well. Now
Okay.
user A can access with the link, but even if user B has got the link, but will be denied for the services, denied for the access. So how do we maintain that?
By giving control access, as we discussed, by grouping the user A within that access group and
Yeah. So
denying.
one way that we can restrict that user B through their IAM policy, that you are not allowed to access the bucket, or
Yes.
we can use ACLs, access control
Yeah.
list,
Control
which
list.
will deny their access. Okay, user has the link, but user cannot access.
Yes.
And then next thing is about the encryption. So encryptions and like uh, it is the again for the data. Again, there is a lot of encryptions, lot of techniques are there. Many things which are available whenever data is at rest or data is in transit. So when data is at rest, then also it need to be encrypted so that if anyone gets the access, should not be able to read the data. So we should
Yeah.
not store anywhere the plain text, but
Plain text. Yeah.
we can store the ciphered text, which is the encrypted one. So
Yeah.
whenever you encode the data, you need a secret key. Whenever you decode the data, you again need the secret key. So there is one
Yeah.
public key, one private key. Okay.
Yes.
So same way here also in AWS, if I'm talking only about AWS, same thing will goes for other cloud also. That whenever you have that, they these cloud providers are providing the key management service, that is called as KMS. Okay.
Key management service. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, KMS. So AWS is also having KMS to manage the secret keys. So they will look after, you don't have to remember, you don't have to recall everything. Okay, you just put your master password. It will give you it will store all your KMS for particular S3. Okay, and you can access.
Okay.
Then when I talk about other encryption, so generally we have server side and client side encryption. Okay, so if you can recall, in OSI 7-layer model, there is
Yeah.
on the top seventh layer is called as application layer. Just
Yes.
below to that, there is presentation layer.
Presentation there. Yeah.
So that layer is responsible for data presentation. So maintaining the cipher to plain to cipher text, and they're using these technologies. Okay, so
Okay.
do you know any encryption technique?
Um. Like, I mean, you're talking about the methods.
Yeah, methods. So encryption methods like we are using AES and DES
Oh
methods.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there is
Like we have
advanced.
RDS. We have
Yeah,
RDS as.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they have certain bit of encryption. There is 256, 128 bits of encryption. So that is the key length with which your text is converted into encrypted one or cipher text, right?
Yeah.
And whenever data is in transit or you are using any uh, you are accessing the data through HTTPS or you are accessing through FTP protocol,
Mm.
because over the internet data can be accessed either by HTTP or accessed by FTP. So
TP.
banks and everything, they are using FTP protocol because they are using like using lot of data at a time. And for
Yeah.
websites and other browsing, we have HTTP. So
HTTP. Yeah.
we have to use like technology like SSL or TLS. Okay, have you
Yeah.
heard of this?
Yeah.
SSL security and TLS.
Secure socket layer and transport layer security.
Yeah, so they are called as they are responsible for data in transit security. Okay, so again
Yeah.
they are having the encryption. So similarly for S3 bucket also there is service server side encryption and there is client side encryption too. Okay.
Yeah.
So whenever anything is used, every time they're like encrypted and then uploaded, then again encrypted and then downloaded. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
So there are plenty of things which can be stored into S3 bucket, right? And
Mm, yes.
they can be accessed by the name of bucket or by the name of region or website if any end user is having that access. Okay, it supports any type of content like HTML files to images to videos to any client side script
The
if it
scripts.
is
Yeah.
stored. Okay, so all these things. Yeah. Then there is a best practice in the versioning. Okay. So S3 is referred as for the best availability. Okay. And whenever if anyone is changing any data, so that time we have to have a certain replica of it. So there is some protection against the accidental overwrites and accidental deletes. So this is possible that by default, we have written certain script which may have gone wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
then your data is like overwritten, and but that was not correct, or maybe by mistake somebody has deleted certain buckets. So how to retrieve that? So retrieving involves whenever S3 bucket is created, you have to enable something called as versioning. When you enable this option, whenever you do any single change or anything, Every time
Mm-hmm.
what will happen, there will be a previous version or previous copy will be maintained. And then the current user, whatever has done, that marker is created. Okay. So if you
Mm-hmm.
want, you can just come back to the previous version. So it is same like undo kind of thing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
V1, V2, and current version.
Yeah.
So
So that
V2
is,
is the
yeah. So from current version, one can enroll to V2, one can enroll to V1 as. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So by default, this option is not enabled. So that need to be enabled if it is like if we want to maintain the redundancy and we want to follow the best practices of S3. So we have to use this. Okay. So versioning must be enabled. And second option is there versioning is not enabled. And then there is versioning is suspended. So all these things are there. Like if some data is there, whether they're but even if they are deleted, it does not matter. So we can suspend the versioning option. So
Okay.
that is not required there. But
Oh, I
however,
see.
user should be cautious or should understand before deleting anything. Even they have the good kind of like practices that when you go to delete anything, it will ask you to type that name of the bucket, then only it will delete. So you have means it will not get deleted just by clicks. Okay, so
Oh,
if anything is deleted, that means user was well aware of the delete process.
the bucket name should be exactly as
Yeah,
enroll.
yeah, and that should be typed by the user at the time of deletion.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, so we have S3 versioning. There is some demonstration, so that is not our part, but it is there. Okay, so we have this task like we can create a bucket in Amazon S3, then we can upload certain content to it, and then we can enable the access like how bucket policies are there, whether versioning is to be updated or not, and then we can update the website or you can put in the code of the website and then
Mm,
html dot index when you refer that when you access that it will show you the website like local website what you have stored on your local PC and you try to use it like access. So it is similar way you have uploaded on your static website code in there and then you can access this through online or S3 bucket or globally. And
yeah.
even if you know the link and if that link is made public, so all these things are there, right? Okay, so whenever you try to use any website or anything like that, then definitely you have to use some compute services. Okay, so that
Yeah.
one EC2 instance will start. Okay, and that will manage with all the things. Okay, so there is this kind of structure is required. Okay, that is for data store for compute and analytics. Okay, we will not go in
Mm-hmm.
much detail of it, but while setting of any project, then we'll talk about this. Okay, so
Okay.
this is just the architecture. How do we implement the things? Okay, this design, all these things are like the setting that how will you proceed? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So S3, if you can use, so many times what happens, the main role of S3 is what? To set as a data backup solution
Data.
for
Mm.
the corporate data centers. So corporate data centers, their data can be replicated onto S3. And since we know that S3 is highly available, much secured and scalable, and we can manage and following the best security practices. So one can get can rely on to S3 Amazon S3 services, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And accessing S3 data through EC2 servers are also bit easy and one can do any computation when data is present onto S3. So that is also available. That option is also there, and that is faster.
Okay.
Yeah. So like there are certain ways of like doing the process of S3. Okay. So whenever you send any data, you store any data. Okay. There are some steps followed. Okay. That is get and put. So it is similar kind of thing where whenever you try to send anything to the server, okay, you are using certain app or API system from where you
Yes.
send the data or receive the data like Postman and other options are there. So similar way, you can use these options like read after write consistency or get list put operations. Put operations where you send the data to the S3 bucket. Okay. So these configurations are there. Okay. So they're
Okay.
like just part of accessing it. Okay. So our main requirement was how the security of S3 is there, and by default, what is the access level, and how can we manage the access to give it to public, or we can just give the controlled access, right?
Yes.
So there are certain other informations available like S3 and S3 Glacier storage and their classes and all. So all these things are available onto AWS website under the setting tab of documentation. So whenever you want to refer anything, you just refer the documentation that gives you like latest latest understanding how to use this. Okay. So there are ways how these things are managed or how S3s are used. So if one is uh, trying to set up bigger database or anything like that, so that person should have the understanding and the knowledge of how the different varieties of storage is there and how it is managed. Okay, in that particular cloud system. So talking about the pricing, so here you have to pay only for the use. What use? The amount of GB you are using per month. Okay,
Okay.
and that varies in for different region or different class, storage class. Okay, so if you are putting in some region where like most of the traffic is there, but their availability is very high. So if I talk
Yeah.
about Ohio, North Virginia, and like that. So there will charges will be different. And if you are putting, let's say, into Mumbai or Asia Pacific servers, so you will get a bit discount in the charges. Okay.
Okay.
Then there is transfer out to other region options available. So again, there is certain charge because when you change the region, prices are changing.
Yeah. Right.
Um, there is like whenever you have any S3 bucket or any storage services, there are like multiple time there are different IO request input and outputs. Okay.
Output.
So how many times you are doing that? Let's say 5,000 cycles. So 5,000 times you can take, you can access or you can put something in there. So that is called a IO request and everything. Okay. So that is chargeable. Okay. So by default,
Data.
in the free tier, we get like around 400 IO requests per month.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So same way here also put copy post list get select these and then lifecycle transition data retail requests
Yeah.
versioning if you're restoring back to certain version. So
Yeah.
whenever you are doing that, again there are the charges for that. Of course, in the free tier there are certain amount of transfers which
Free
are free for that.
allowed. Hmm.
Later on, it may occur certain charges. Okay.
Okay.
And then there are certain no charge features are also available whenever you transfer it from internet to S3. Okay. And when you transfer between the S3 bucket, then also no charges are there, because it is between their fold,
Services.
their yeah, it is like between the folders you are doing the things, no problem. Then
Okay.
transfer out to Amazon CloudFront. So Amazon CloudFront is one of the again tool, okay, to assess every things related to this. So for the CloudFront, there is no charge, because CloudFront itself is a service which is chargeable. So there
Okay.
is no charge for transferring data towards the front.
Okay.
Once you are using that front service to analyze your storage, then that itself is chargeable. And then there
Okay.
is no charges for delete and cancel requests. Okay. So these things are there, these rules are there. We should keep in mind while using the free tier. We have to be cautious that we should not cross the limit. Okay,
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
should be there. Then, like we got to know that there are different varieties of classes of S3. Okay, we are not more interested into S3's other options. We are only looking forward to S3 standard. Okay, the
Mhm.
policy making, the other things are very similar in each of them, but their level of accessing or amount of data, other options are different. Okay. Moving out to
Mhm.
data is not our part, so no problem here. But I'll make this PPT available so you can use this whenever you want. Okay. Only the thing.
Yeah, the documents you are showing like since the first class, I mean, can if you would be able to make it.
Yeah. I have made one Google Drive. Okay, the
Okay.
link will be available. I'll just say share it with you. So I'll keep
Okay.
on putting everything in that folder, and you'll be
Sure.
able to get the access to all the things. You can download. You can use it anytime. Only the thing
Okay.
is, this is AWS Academy provided content. So I'm the instructor from AWS. So
Okay.
but still. It is the policy that anybody can use this material. There is no problem. Only the
Mhm.
thing is, we should not alter the logo, or we can change the content and add some slides if you want, or to reduce
Okay.
slides, but do not change the look or logo of the AWS Academy, or do not
Yeah.
put it with any other. So let's say I have not put the GS, okay, so
Yeah.
Guruschools logo in it. Okay, so that is
Yeah.
the policy, that is the restriction, but it is provided directly through Amazon.
Yeah. I'm just using. You will be using it for studying, and
Yeah, we
that's all.
can. You can also use it to show it to others. You can do anything, but we do not have to change the logo and
Okay.
overall look of this. Okay, that is
Okay.
the. So yeah, there is one more option I just want to highlight for this S3, that AWS Snowball. Okay, so there
Okay.
is this option available for corporates. Okay, so whenever there is massive amount of data, and which is to be like petabyte scale of data which need to be
Mm.
transported to the cloud, then we can use this AWS Snowball. Okay,
Ball.
the charges are very high for this, and like this is utilized for migration of data from data center to AWS. So whenever any company is totally migrating towards the cloud, then
Cloud. Yes.
this method is used, because we cannot take more downtime for the servers.
Right. Exactly. Mm.
Yeah, so that is why we have to. There are certain these options are available which can simultaneously upload to multiple S3. Okay, it can utilize send data to multiple S3s.
Okay.
So
Multiple. Okay.
yeah,
Buckets.
so at the
Mm.
same time, yeah, you can store. So some information is there, like for 10 petabyte, like 10 million GB over the internet, with the 10 Gbps upload, the speed will take around 100 days, right?
100 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm.
So that was the concern. Okay, but if you use Snowball, So it will do it parallelly. So it can get complete within 10 days.
Okay, 10 days, but still 10 days will be used.
Yeah, yeah. If we talk about that much amount of data, like 10 petabytes.
Yeah. Mhm.
So whenever we move on to cloud, there are techniques like compression of the data. There are techniques like redundant, reducing the data, like sanitizing the data, so that only more and proper relevant data is only added, because
Yeah,
some data can be like sorted out, no problem in there. So if we are not
right.
uploading, that is also fine, or maybe that can be uploaded later on, like
Yeah,
profile or details of the user, that can be later on, but only user credential and ID is the very first important thing that should be there, whatever is as per the organization, right?
right.
Okay. Then there are certain more like snowmobile and all this. So they have like this analogy related to the truck, and
Yeah,
who they are shipping the containers, means continuously keep on updating like that. Okay, so these are the ways. Okay, so different ways are there. And how do we choose the this
region.
availability zone and other things? So there are certain things that you should take in mind, that data residency and regulatory compliance, like Indresh had already told you in the very first class, that whenever you in the cloud, there are two, three big
Laws.
challenges are there. One is related to public and private IP. Second is related to whenever you select any region, or you set up, you put your data in any of the region, then you have to adhere to the laws which are governing in that country, or governance policies which are there, set by the
Mm,
federation of that company, country.
yeah,
So that is how data residency is very challenging task. So where your data resides, that is, you have to like understand that in future what will be the issues, and which kind of data you should not store it there, or what is if you have stored, then what will be the upcoming challenges. Then
yeah.
regulatory compliance is also there, like for your users, how much amount of data you can store. Okay, you like because if it is very secure, but still if any data leak will happen, then what will you do? And if
Mm,
users data gets public, then that is the like breach of privacy and other things. All these things are there. So
right.
these are the regulatory compliance. And then a very important part is like accessibility. So if you want to make your data available very faster, so you have to select very the proximity of the user data is very important to maintain the small latency or delays, right? So if I know
Yeah.
my maximum user for this service are from India, let's say from Asia side, or maybe like China, Bhutan, Pakistan, all these places. So what will happen? You have to keep everything near into this AZ, okay, so that access
Leadership.
is faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if later on you got to know that your data, your users are now increasing in European, so you can select Frankfurt or other kind of ACs like that. So the one good practice is that you should choose the region closest to your users. And this option is readily available in S3. You can you can do it very faster. Okay, you can just replicate S3 from one AZ to another.
Mm, okay.
Choosing a reason is also considering this thing like services and the feature availability. So there are certain reasons where certain facilities are not available. So you can refer this AWS region table that will show you the compatibility, that if you are in this region, your data is stored in this region. So who are the other compatible AZs where you can replicate your data? Okay.
Oh, okay.
You
Mm-hmm.
can use cross region as well, but that will increase their latency. If it is not as per AWS format, definitely it will take some route time.
Okay. Will not
But
be
there is,
that efficient and
Correct,
that
correct.
consistent.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. So at the time of high traffic, users may experience delay, or
Hmm.
maybe if delay is more than if it is payment related thing, then your gateway time out
Cost.
will spend more. Okay, so that
Hmm.
may be issue. Then cost effectiveness. So again, you should also look forward to cost as well. That you should have a proper trade-off between cost and selecting the reason. You just cannot select every time the best reason available, irrespective of the cost. So you have
Yeah.
to make a trade there. Okay. And then how many like IOs or requests are coming, how you're replacing or replicating the entire environment into another region. So all these things you can manage. Let's say you know that like first 6 month of the
Yeah.
year, you require data to be available more precise, more faster. Like if I talk about universities or college admissions, so when the fall and when the season comes, then only admissions inquiries are more. Other times they're like normal activities going on. So in the
Yeah. Right.
city, so that time we can move it to some other reason for faster, and for once that happens, after that we can shift to another reason so that we can save on certain cost. So all these things are
Yeah.
like tricks to save these things. Nowadays many of these things are already coming as a advice, as a what do we say, as a tips and tricks which are also available into AWS. Okay, they will only suggest you that it is better if you move in there, you can save some cost in there.
Hmm.
Otherwise, your the solution architect engineer who has designed your cloud environment, that engineer can assess your environment and can suggest that what is to be done so that you can reduce on some monthly cost. Okay,
Yeah. Right.
so all these things are possible. Okay, so as a like a part of security, cloud security, you have to keep a very close track whenever you are moving your data from one place to another. Whenever you are storing the data, whether your policies are right, your encryption is correct, all these
Hmm.
things you have to keep in mind, right? So simple website challenge was there. So let's say one cafe is to be there, and some menu and some other things is to be listed so that people can understand
Hmm.
or that what are the options available in that.
Yeah.
So these kind of task we can perform, how do we create the S3 bucket? How do we upload the content in there? Then grant the permissions for public access, and then enable the versioning and setting the life cycle policies and all this, replicating the things. Okay. So
Okay.
cross-region replication, if you have enabled, it may add on to some latency, but this is also possible.
Data will be stored in another AZ as well.
Yes, yes, right.
Okay.
So uh, you have this website which will have one access link which is shown like that. Okay, so whenever you store any thing into the bucket, and let's say
Hmm.
you are creating a website or something like that, so link will be shown like that. You have to use the
Yeah.
bucket name, then dot S3 website, then there will be region name, let's say North Virginia or anything will come like that, US based
Hmm.
one or something, and then dot
Yeah.
Amazon AWS.com.
Yeah.
So so if you use the same, you will get this link and you can get that. But this is provided to reason one. But same data you can maintain for redundancy purpose, for higher availability
Backup.
purpose into
Yeah.
another reason as well. So this
Hmm.
was the use case. A final product should look like this. Okay. So when you upload your code or website code to the S3 bucket, it will generate a link. So this is the link HTTP. So that link is there, and through that link you can access. But our replica is also maintained into reason 2.
Hmm. Okay.
Like so if I want to access it from second reason, what should be the change there? Website link will be same. but
Yeah, website will be same, but
only the reason part.
US East one will be changed to some other region, whichever region we choose.
Correct. So
Okay.
that is that, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So like we have done this overall thorough just understanding that how S3 is used and what are the ways, what are the pricing, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody is looking for certifications and all, so
Yeah.
AWS Academy is providing some practice questions to them also. Okay. So
Hmm.
uh, this kind of questions are coming there also. Okay, this is just for our understanding. So if you can just go through the question, so we can just discuss out.
Yeah. Company sales people upload their sales figure daily. A solution architect needs a suitable storage solution for these documents.
Hmm.
It also protects against users accidentally deleting important documents. So I think versioning is used for
Uh,
protecting. So store data in EBS volume create snapshot. No, store data in S3 bucket and enable versioning. Um, I feel B after reading B, but still let's go for C and D. Store data in two S3 buckets in different
hmm,
AWS regions. That is good option of taking a backup, but
hmm.
still, if deleted,
Versioning. Hmm.
yeah. If it okay, let's say if it deleted from one region, will it also get affect the second another region, or will the data will be like in the original form or like the pre-deleted form
No, no.
or
If it will be available another way.
okay, it will be available in another region.
Yes,
The
yes.
the original data without, I mean the okay, store data on EC2 instance. Okay,
So
so
these are the
I
key
feel
points that durable solution against user accidentally deleting important documents. The
hmm,
action will be this. Be you
B,
you
right?
you were right. So
Hmm.
we have to enable the versioning.
But why can't it be three? See, I mean, C can also protect, right? Protect and against deleting, but I don't know whether it will be
Against
durable.
deleting, yeah, that is okay. But if you delete it, means see, let's say your website is using from region one, and if you
Mm-hmm.
have deleted that, so there is no access to that. Your link
Hmm.
and website, everything is like they're not, they will not load. No, there will be error.
Down. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that is where itself it has affected it. Okay. Later on, it
Okay.
is up to the so means troubleshooting and all. Then engineers will come to know that yeah, we can use the another backup reason for that. So
Okay.
again, the
Yes.
link will be changed. So this is the better option that we
Okay.
should
Hmm.
enable the version.
Okay.
Okay. So like for today's session,
Yes.
uh, I need to cover few more grounds. Okay, so that is
Sure.
why.
Yeah.
This part we have done it. I'll just quickly walk you through. This is
Sure.
about EC2 instances. So we
Hmm.
have practiced one instance how to put up instances, but there are
Yes.
certain things which we need to do it further. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
whenever we need computing power anywhere, computing power, then we have to use this EC2 instance, right? EC2 instance is a server based instance where you have used any uh, like server, like maybe Windows, maybe Linux, maybe Mac, maybe Solaris, any kind of operating systems. Okay.
Yes. Hmm.
So it is better to use the Linux based operating system because maximum places people are using only servers based on Linux because they are
Linux. Hmm.
free, they do not need licensing, and they're cheap, means cost effective, and they are free from viruses. So antivirus
Okay.
is not the headache over here. Okay. So EC2 instance. Okay. So we know a static bucket. We know the S3 bucket. Now we know the, now we'll also know the EC2 instances. So we user can have some computing power based on this, right? So from the same architecture, I'm highlighting EC2 instance now. Again, I'm using the same case scenario that cafe wants the website to display more than the static content. let's say they need to give some dynamic capability, and they need to introduce online ordering system. So again, that should support certain payment gateways and other things, right? So let's say I want to make that happen. So for that, we need some computing power as well, because we need to use certain query languages now, and JS query and other things. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So slide is changing in front of you. Is it changing or same?
No, it's not changing actually. Yeah, that's why
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
it's the same to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
cafe
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Okay. So now we know how to add the compute service individually, but not in somewhere group. But I know how to launch the instances. Okay, that practice we did. There are a lot of machines. Okay, lot of compute choice which are given through different cloud providers. There are various. Okay, one of the very important is virtual machine based, which is called as Amazon EC2 instance. Then there is Elastic Container Service as well. Then there is Platform as a Service, very important one, which is
Yes. Mhm.
EBS, Elastic Beanstalk. So we'll practice one Elastic Beanstalk as well, because
Okay.
EC2 is coming under Infrastructure as a Service, while EBS is coming as Platform as a Service. And then there is serverless computing, which is Lambda, where you need to just calculate immediately. So you don't have to like use any operating system, just the compute power you are utilizing it. So that AWS Lambda is helpful. Then specialized solutions are also possible there. So like they are growing onto that section. They are bringing a lot of things. And one more a virtual machine section is there, which is called as Amazon Light Sail. So it is also there available. Okay. Then for that serverless, it is AWS Forget. So Fargate is one more service which are available as in serverless. Okay. So these are the different things. Okay. So
Yes.
just below to that, the comparison is shown that high infrastructure control and customization to low infrastructure control and customization. So that bar is getting narrow towards the
Yeah.
serverless. And
Yes.
but if you want to talk about faster application deployment, means I want immediately something is to be computed within, let's say, next 3 minutes, 5 minutes, then I can use
Mm.
serverless computing. So that is
Yeah.
going for faster application development. And so then AWS batch and outpost, these are the fully managed services. We are not going in there. Okay. So
Okay.
we talk about AWS EC2 only. So it is again like a scalable thing, where you can use certain virtual machine as a server. You can provision the servers in the minutes. Okay, within few minutes, even it is more faster than installing the operating system on
Operating
your
system.
laptop.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Can automatically scale up and down both as needed, and it is enabling us to only pay as we use. Okay, so pay as you go is the concept over here. Now I'll tell you initially I told you that how Amazon is providing like services to too many users, like lot of
Yeah. Yeah. Instantly providing all those powers for
right.
those operating system,
Hmm.
Linux, Windows, whatever.
Yeah, so that is done through a process called as virtualization. Okay, so
Hmm.
virtualization is the concept over here, and that is when Amazon is using one very efficient uh, virtualization technique called as hypervisor. So there is
Okay.
Zen architecture of XEN Zen. So there is a Zen hypervisor which is used by AWS, and with that they are having their own physical resources, but they are very fast. They are very
Hmm.
highly efficient. So it is possible
Okay.
for them to give the small time slots to different user, and at at a time one instance will use the power, small power of that CPU, small power of that RAM, and the storage. So all these
Mm,
three things, and that will be used together, and that will be provided to EC2 instance of one. So EC2 instances which are creating their virtual, and whatever resource they are using, that is physical, but users are given what EC2 instances, so they are virtual. So
mm,
on
okay.
one device which is very fast, let's say, uh, because of the hypervisor, it can be virtually allocated to 10 different people or 10 different user. So this is how they are expanding to tenfold with the similar hardware. Same hardware, they are giving services to 10 different people or 10 different
Mm,
organization. So that is the virtualization concept. Okay. So there are different level of virtualization: hardware level virtualization, software level virtualization, application level virtualization. Like app is there, so virtually it is available to everyone. Have you ever
everyone.
worked on Google Sheets or any
Yeah, yeah.
Microsoft?
Mm,
So there are parallelly people can access it and they can modify it, right?
yes,
So that
exactly.
is virtualization technique itself.
Mm,
So same can happen for platform wise and same can happen for infrastructure wise. So if it
infrastructure
is
wise.
happening infrastructure wise, that is coming under EC2 instances. So
Okay.
these are the EC2 instances which are virtualized one based on these hardware, which is CPU, RAM, and storage, and combining it with the network or any EBS optimized solution, we can get lot of things from AWS, right?
Okay.
Now, there are certain use cases where do we use EC2 instances. So these are the various places where EC2 instances can be utilized. We can use it for application server, database server, media server, anything a server can do, or any web server, everywhere.
Okay.
Mm. So a single EC2 instance, okay, is having these are the like attach point. These are the things that you one should understand. Whenever you are trying to set up one instance, you
Mm,
have to know that which like from the first one on the top, I'm starting clockwise side. Okay. So which AMI are you using? AMI is Amazon Machine Image. It is like virtual that operating system that you are selecting. Last time I think we
yeah.
selected Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, yes.
Same way we can use Amazon AMI. They are providing their own customized Linux as well. Okay, so we can
Okay.
use that. Very first option was that only AW
Okay.
Amazon Linux that we can use, or any other. Then there is instance type. Instance type means how big is your machine? Are you using bigger machines, large machines, or
Course.
T2 micro, or your like free tier machine? And then clockwise, third thing is VPC, that is called as virtual private cloud.
Private cloud.
That is our next thing which we are going to do. Okay. So
Okay.
virtual private cloud again is the very important aspect in cloud security, and everything we means every organization is using VPC. They are not using anything without VPC. Then there is assumed role that is set by IAM. So whether
IAMs.
IAM based roles are available for that instance, how many users are authorized to access it, and something like that. Then
Yeah.
what user data it is computing, okay, which kind
S3.
of data is there. Then there is instant store or EBS. So EBS is like elastic storage. Okay, so whenever you want, you can expand on storage. Okay, so it
Mm-hmm.
storage can be expanded. And then two more aspects are remaining, which are essential to security. One is security group. We in short term we called as SG. Okay, in Azure we call this NSG.
Okay.
Okay. So security group is one important thing where you have to specifically uh, configure this EC2 instance, that which, see, whenever you are having a server, you have to
Mm,
be very sure that incoming traffic, which is called as inbound rule. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
inbound rule has to be very precise. Outbound rule is okay. See, anything goes from server to outside internet, that is okay. It can go
Okay.
to any IP address. Let it go.
Yes.
It is allowed. But
Yeah.
anything coming towards server may threat the server,
Filter.
may
Yeah.
harm the server. So that is why
Mm-hmm.
you have to filter. And that is
Yeah.
why you have to set the restriction there that means my server or my instance should not be accessed through any other IP other than this IP address. And who is that
Okay.
IP address? Let's say particular user. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
you. So
Mm.
whatever IP addresses you are using, you can set that at only you. Okay. So that is
Okay.
how restrictions are put into inbound rules. And every
Mm-hmm.
time, whenever we try to log in into instance, we need to initialize the instance, we need to run the instance. Then we have to
Mm.
use, do it through SSH. Okay, that is secured shell. So whenever we try to log in, we have to use the SSH service. Later on,
Mm.
we can use HTTPS or HTTP like that. Getting?
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. Then there is key pair. Key pair is like I have told you there are different ways of logging into Amazon. Similarly, there
Yeah.
yeah. So if any API or any SDK is using your EC2 instance, so they should be authorized one. They should have that key pair. So that PEM key is should be available, and through a third party app or through command prompt that will be put by the API. And if it is the right key, then only that instance power is available to that software. Because sometime I need that my software to run, use this compute service and to deduce something, to find
Yeah.
out something. So that time we have. So these are the like provisioning of EC2 instance. Whenever you try to start EC2 instance, these are the aspects that you need to at least understand. So security comes in that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just go to how to launch the AC2 that we have already did, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there are a lot of benefits of AMI. AMI is like a operating system which are virtualized one, and which is available from AWS or cloud itself, and you can
Yeah.
use it repeated number of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can
Yeah.
reuse, recover like that. So these are the features available to them. Yeah, one thing is there, whenever you try to select anything, AMI, you have to understand which on which reason. In some reason you may not find certain AMIs. So that is why you have to be sure that I should select the operating system which is available in at least mm, uh, like a neighbor or many of the availability zone or reasons. Okay. So
Yeah.
reasons comprises lot of AZs. Then operating system. So like 90% of users outside the US, if you say, they are only onto Windows or Linux, right?
Ordinance. Yes.
So Mac OS is also there, but lot of compatibility or maybe from like now because of the reach of the Microsoft, like it is there in the school, from school in various out other reasons. So like people are knowing Windows for longer. This is more
Yes.
uh,
Exactly. Mm.
preferred choice because they are more comfortable with it. So
Yeah.
Linux, similarly, Linux is there for the servers. Then
Mm-hmm.
what type of root devices there, architectures, virtualization, all these are the key aspect while choosing the AMIs. You can create the AMIs, you can select the AMIs, you can use that for different purpose. Okay. So there are
Yeah.
certain characteristics. I will not go into details, but you can refer it whenever you are setting up. Okay, it is
Yeah.
just for certification thing. So that's
Okay.
not for
Mm-hmm.
security purpose, but these things are.
Okay. Okay.
Then their life cycle, how how are you going to use? So whenever you launch any EC2 instance, you can whenever you launch, it will show you the pending. Okay.
Pending, yes.
Then when it is started, it shows the running, and then you can terminate. It will show you the shutting down, then terminate.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So these
Yes.
are the different states of the EC2 instances.
Stage.
And,
Yeah. Right.
if it is not running 24/7, okay, so we should make sure that extra instances which are not essential, they should be stopped as and when their work is done.
Mm-hmm.
So that is to be done. Either you do it manually or you write any script. Okay,
Yeah. Right.
you can
Mm-hmm.
use the like a cell scripting method, which can
Yeah.
automatically turn it off after certain amount of time. In here, if you know, comparing to EC2, if you use Lambda services, so they are
Mm-hmm.
like serverless. So as soon as their task is over, they are immediately means stopped, terminated. So there you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to schedule anything like shutdown or something, right?
Okay.
But here
Yeah.
EC2 is you have to like schedule. Okay.
Mm.
Whenever you
Okay.
create, these are the steps of creating. No need to go in detail for this. How the pipeline, image pipelines are there, that is not for our part. Yeah. So these are the different type of machines that you can select. Whenever you select any machine, on the right sides, you can see a code is there.
Yeah.
M5P.X large. So M means family, 5 means generation, and D, that third letter will tell you the
Capabilities.
additional
Mm.
capabilities, and then dot will show you the size. Okay, so M family is the larger family instance where at least 4 virtual CPUs are available. Okay, and then 16 GB RAM is there, 150 GB SSD storage is there. The network performance is showing up to 10
10
Gbps.
Gbps. Mm.
That is the rate. Okay, so that is the larger machine. Okay, so one can go for different type of group machines. Okay, so different compute powers are available for different purpose.
Yeah.
If there is web application, you can select anyone from M5T3A1.
Yeah.
For same for enterprise applications, gaming, caching, then analyzing, analytics, everything.
Mm.
And few of them which are requiring high performance computing, ad server engines, or maybe multiplayer gaming, video encoding. So that time you need this another instance type which is coded with the C5, C5N like that.
Yes. Right.
Anytime more options may be added to this because this slide was given in like a few
20,
2 years back at
2020.
least. So
Mm-hmm.
if anything is added later, so that will come in any one of this group,
Okay.
right? So these are the just the detailings. Okay, we are not just
Okay.
AWS
Okay.
Compute Optimizer. That is one service which anyone can use. Okay, and after using it, it will show you the different suggestions that for your application, these are the
Yeah.
best options available. You can sort it with the different uh, attributes that how do we use it,
Mm.
and see the pricing. So for the same compute power, pricing is different for M5 dot large, and pricing is different for C5 like that. So you can
Yeah.
select which
Mm.
one is required. Okay, and accordingly you can select. So
Okay. Yeah.
these are the services which are available, which will help us to analyze because if anybody wants to know everything about the like any of the cloud service, it is endless. It's a very vast. Like it requires a lot of experience, like 3, 4 continuous years of experience. So
Yeah.
then only
Mm-hmm.
that person. Otherwise, you can use certain tools and they will do this job for you, right? So
Yeah. Right.
whenever you try to configure any EC2 instance, yes, so these are the ways of accessing it that we have already discussed. So shell script or cloud initial directives are there. You can write this command which is called as shell
Bash.
scripting, right? So shell
Mm-hmm.
scripting shebang command /bin/bang. So that you can utilize.
Yeah.
Uh, Whenever you use any Amazon AMI, Amazon customized Linux. So they are using yum command, yum. Okay, that is
Yeah.
again at the place of sudo, super user
Yeah.
do.
Sudo.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so it is same as administrative right you are giving to that. Okay,
Oh, okay.
so
Mm-hmm.
you can use that. So then whenever you are having any services, it will give you one public host name. Public host name is very essential. With that only you can access that instance, and that should be known at the time of logging. So see, at the time of logging, you have to supply that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are a lot of flexibility of EC2 instances. Where are you placing? How are you placing? All these things are lot of details are given. Okay. So that is just one example which is shown in the bootstrap
Mhm.
mode, in the launch mode, okay, dynamic launching everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So EBS volume data that we have already like S3 we talked about. We have not talked about EBS volume data, but later on, if it is required in the security, how to secure EBS, then we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So um, I'll just give you. Yeah. So this was the task that we have already done almost. Okay. That what is a effective file system, and then creating the FS file system. Actually, first two
Yeah.
things are that is by default there. So we are not giving much attention to that. Then connecting your EC2 instances via SSH, that
Yeah. We
we
did.
have
We
done.
did that. Yeah.
Yeah, then creating the new directory, mounting the FS file system again. Okay, so that is for complete system that we want to use it for behavior. Pricing options, these are the different ways, okay, of how you will be charged, or how they will charge. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
one thing is there that is called as on-demand instance. Okay,
Yes.
whenever you need, you just ask that I want this compute service. I want to select this much GB of RAM, this much GB of space, or something like that. So whenever you have spike in the workload, you can boost onto the instances type. You said no, I want to
Stick.
utilize bigger machines,
Mm.
so you can give that. But however, in on-demand instances, whatever they say that at this hour you will be charged with this amount, so you have to pay that. There is no like no way, okay? Because let's say one day if everyone has moved to cloud and now cloud has the monopoly, so they can set their own pricing, they can give all this. So there is on demand instance, then there is a, reserved instances, so that is like with the commitment. Okay, so bigger companies are using this because AWS should have the at least guarantee that this organization will utilize my resources for this much year minimum. Okay,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so that is with the commitment. They can give you a significant discount also, right? So
Yeah. Mm.
so that because they know the your requirement that from which range to what range you will be utilizing your the power. So they will be ready, because they should not be just wondering that today we are getting this much traffic, to tomorrow what will be there. Because nowadays this market is so big that they don't have to think about that. But in the
Yes.
early stages, they were thinking about how can they charge, how can they provide. Even for all those purpose also they can use EC2 instances or lambda instance to optimize that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then there are the saving plans which are available. Okay, the saving plans which are available, that is you just use it for few hours. Okay, few hours commitment, that every day I want this 4 hour of EC2 instance. Let's say I know that initially for 4 hours I will be needing. But rest of the hours I'll just upload my data, and only for 4 hours I have to compute it. Let's say data analytics, I want to do something, data science, or I want to do something like that. So then we can use this saving plans kind of thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
these are the different ways with which these instances are available. What we use is called as on-demand instances. Whenever I need, I create. right? Then there is one more called a spot instance. Spot instance means immediately I want something. Okay. But I'll select that only when my pricing is low. Let's say sometime
Yeah.
Amazon is saying that if you are using in this working hour, you'll get this much discounted for the same machine. So people can use.
Yeah.
It is like fleet service. Okay. Then there is a dedicated host. So there you have to use the fully dedicated EC2 instances for that capability. So there is dedicated instances and host. Host means where you already have everything is proper. Okay. Per host billing and everything is there. Instances are different. Host is different, right? If
Yeah.
you, yeah.
Right.
So number of instances. See, the reserved instances are fixed. They have proper saving plans. On demand, you can see whenever demand goes high, pricing goes high.
Yeah. Right.
And spot instances, sometimes they may be available for lesser price, sometimes they may be available for more
Higher place.
higher price. But
Mm.
see the availability means utilization in the x-axis. If you can see the time, so not
Yeah.
every time these spot instances are available. Not
Yeah.
every
Only
time
few.
on, yeah.
Mm.
So this is how they have analyzed that how their compute powers are utilized or required, and accordingly they have made the plan. Okay, so these plans and other things are, and then how do you place EC2 instance where? So that is about the placing of the instances. Okay, so let's say
Okay.
within one availability zone, you can use in different partitions just to maintain the redundancy, hardware
Right.
failure or anything like that. Okay. And even you can maintain your servers into two different availability zone. That is also possible. But they are in the same region, right? Their region
Right.
should not be changed. So region should be same. Then only that will be there. Okay. Then there is a challenge lab like how to create a dynamic website for the cafe. So whenever word dynamic came, you need to understand you need some compute power. It means along with S3, you have to utilize what? EC2
EC2
instance.
instant. Mm.
So then you have to use this. Customer like the static website, that is okay, but they want to improve on. So, and they saw that S3 was working well. So that is now why they have, let's say, trying to go for some featured website. So let's say
Yeah.
they are going for this option. So now we have to use one EC2 instance. We have to connect them. Then we have to use some environment, because whenever you want to have like website, dynamic website, you have to have certain, you know,
Development. Yeah.
platform as a service like XAMPP or Apache server or anything like that.
Yeah.
Then
Mm.
installing the cafe application, web application, creating the AMIs and launching another EC2 instances for that, and then verifying the new instance whether it is working properly or not. So the final product will look like that. Okay. So one entire AWS cloud, okay, is
Yeah.
divided, is now we have selected two different reason. Okay. It can be within the same region as well, but let's say two different reason for safety side. One reason is giving the development environment, and second is for production environment. Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever
Mm-hmm.
you go for any proper or final application kind of thing, then you should use VPC. In next session onwards we will use VPC. So and
Okay.
how to do the security, because this is the most essential part. So
Okay.
VPC at that time we'll understand. So virtual private cloud means within the cloud you make subnet and you make a private cloud there. So every time
Okay.
we should follow this. This creates the isolation between the services. So isolation is created. So that is why VPC is used. So let's say we have one VPC here and one VPC other side. Then within the VPC, you have option to create public subnet
So,
and private subnet. So here
okay.
only public subnet is discussed. If database is there, that is kept in private subnet. And then
Okay.
with EC2 instance, always comes security group. With EC2 instance, always comes like policies related to EC2. And within
Yeah.
that EC2, you can use any web server. What is that web server? Apache HTTP server is there. There is
Yeah.
cache application based on PHP. And let's say it is accessing certain database of the cache. Okay. Same
Yeah.
thing is there, which is already set as the replica into region 2. That is for the production environment,
Production environment.
right? So we have this, and now we can use an API where web client can access my data and can get these informations. So this is how you can provision in cloud system. Okay, similar thing will be there into Azure and GCP. Only the thing is here we call it VPC, there we call it VNet in Azure, virtual
Okay.
networks.
Network.
Yeah, then their public private cloud will be same. Security group there it is referred as NSG. And
Mm-hmm.
then instead of EC2 instances, we have different compute, we call it resource. So we can use the resources there. Okay.
Okay.
So these hierarchy will be same, but their namings will be different. So this is how this is the exact final product that exactly will look like. So with respect to one compute power, we have hosted a server, and on the server we have hosted a dynamic website with a web application, and which can be accessed through the web client, and then they can get the idea about online ordering or maybe informations related to websites, right? So this
Yeah.
is
Right.
the one thing which is like how they are doing now. As a cloud security, our job is in the security group. We have to
Yeah.
maintain how to make the public subnet, then how to set up the VPC. All these
Yeah.
coming under the cloud security part. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So overall, we understood the things related to EC2 now, okay,
EC2.
with which we
Yes.
can at least go ahead with the cloud security further now. Okay. So
Okay.
there is one just a thing which we need to understand that this kind of question is there. If a cloud solution architect wants to design a solution where they want to save the cost of EC2 instance, and they do
Yeah.
not need to run during 2 week company shutdown.
Shut down.
Yeah, so the application running on the instances and
Stored.
whatever RAM that must be present, that is required. And when they again resume the operation, the instance should run. So these are the key things that
Keywords.
yeah, keywords that you need to understand. Instance RAM should be available. Resume operation must be present. Shutdown and resume instances should be used. So what should be our like approach? Okay. So do we
Yeah.
modify the application? Do we snapshot the instances before stopping them? Means just snapshotting means making a copy of it.
Copy of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Then there is a run the application on the instances enabled for hibernation, or we note the availability zone before stopping and restarting the instance in the same availability zone after the
After
shutdown.
the shutdown.
So which one is the better means as per the requirement? What you feel that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh, let's see. Let's modify the store data on instance store volume. I think the B1 snapshot the instance before stopping them. Restore the snapshot after restarting the instance.
Mhm.
Run the
Shut down
application on
and resume the
instance.
instances, that option should be available, right? So
Yeah.
that was
Shut
the
down is
recommended solution from the architect recommendation solutions was there. So that was this.
um. Where is it highlighting the C1 or D1?
This one,
C.
yeah.
Run the application on instance enabled for hibernation. Hibernate the instance before the shutdown. Okay.
So you can just hold the instances to that particular instance. So RAM memory will be intact, like we
Okay.
hibernate the PC.
Okay. Hibernate it.
Yeah.
Nice.
If
Interesting.
we stop or stop them or shut down, then RAM will be flushed out. So RAM will not be there. RAM
Oh,
memory
okay.
will be lost.
Yes. Right. Right. Right.
Okay. So
Mm.
this is how we did. There are a lot of other resources available from this. You can utilize. These are the links. When you go to this, it
Yeah.
will send you to the docs.iws.com. So there,
Okay.
if when we are more interested, or if you have joined the organization which is like totally
Mm-hmm.
into AWS, then you can explore more into capabilities of EC2 and other things, right?
Okay.
So that
Mm.
can be done. So
Yes. Mm.
I guess, but you know how to launch the EC2 instance, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, but now onwards we have to use it only inside the VPC. So now next task is to how to in the cloud security, how to configure the
Create
VPC, how
VPC.
to
Yeah.
utilize the VPC, and then how to how to link the AC2 instance for the particular VPC.
VPC.
Okay, so
Okay.
we have to run the compute service within the VPC, not the outside or alone.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay, so today we'll stop at this instance. Okay, then
Sure.
we'll do the practicals and hands-on sessions in the next on the VPC. Okay, so that,
Okay. Sure.
yeah,
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
yeah. Thank you so much. And I
Thank
think
you.
it is a bit late now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost
No,
11 here.
yeah.